Hi, I call this video Sanctions, Warfare and Blowbacks because I was watching some videos on the YouTube, and this was about Venezuela and the problems that the government is having over there. Actually, there is sanctions imposed by United States, and then also Trump is making comments that, hey, I want to do more. I want to do warfare with them and overthrow their government. And then also, well, the Iranian government, Rouhani came out and said that he, he he doesn't like the comments that the U.S. officials are making of wanting to completely change the regime in Iran, and then this is happening hardly after just not even a week or a few days when the Syrian theater is coming to an end, and there is more than a few countries like this that U.S. is preparing them to start messing with them militarily. Actually, I was watching some video. It was showing that the Venezuelans were preparing militarily because I guess United States instigating Colombia to attack them, and there is the theater in Ukraine, and I guess the U.S. government goes around all kinds of supports all kinds of regimes, like little dipshit states like Bahrain and Saudis, and they got friends, thugs that are in government all over the world, and these things they will not come to an end. So even if the Syrian war or civil war is coming to an end, then there will be another war, another theater, and I guess when I was watching this video, I noticed that the people there and also the government, they know that these things are going to happen, or there is a high probability of things happening. I was researching on the internet. It seems that it has been like 10 years that the Russian military is coming around with bombers and anti-aircraft. I guess they have S-300. I'm not sure how many or how they have. Well, they were talking about software to organize all their military assets, and it's just simply something that has happened to many third world countries, that the U.S. comes around first, either by instigating a neighboring country. For example, with Iran, they instigated and supported the Ba'athis, or the Iraqi government at the time, Saddam Hussein, and they started a war, and they were funneling money and weapons to that regime, and it created a devastating effect. I guess the Iraqi regime ruined many refineries, and also many soldiers got killed, almost 1 million on both sides. Well, the Iranian casualties were higher, but the Iraqis also lost 400,000. Well, I don't know if the instigation with Colombia and Venezuela intensify, how many people are going to get killed. Well, in the Syrian theater, the Syrians were smarter. They let these military tourists come in and think that they have done something fantastic, and then come around and kill them off. I guess they learned this from the Russians, because Russia was, a lot of Russia was occupied by the Nazis, so that's some kind of military defense strategy, because usually in the wars, um, the country that's defending itself comes out ahead, and losses in material and soldiers is greater on the invading military. So, but it's amazing that that the world, or many smaller countries, they know now how to deal with this, that it's a real possibility, and that there are ways to dealing with the U.S. military, and also militaries that are weaker, but that are really being propped up by the U.S. And well, it was these videos, they were talking how Venezuela is making economic relations with China, and it showed that the Chinese hospital she was visiting Venezuela, and they're also buying oil, so they are not totally cut off from their foreign exports. Basically, it's becoming common knowledge that this is the mechanism of sanctions, and then either instigation by a third party, or a direct attack, and then after that more problems, and then overthrow the government. This has become like a routine with the U.S. government and military. But Trump was saying in the UN that we respect sovereignty of other countries, and la la la, and we are such nice guys, and he's telling the alt-right outlets that, hey, we are going to recall our troops from Afghanistan. I don't know, even if these are true, U.S. is involved in so many places that it just might be just meaningless. And even if these ideas succeed with Trump, then the whole U.S. military and U.S. establishment is based on warfare. Their economy is based on these infusions, or what they call Keynesian militarism, which the government keeps pumping and spending so much money on its military and uses it all around the world. This is kind of like a gravy train that a lot of people work for these establishments, and then that's the way their money comes into their economy. And it's like a tiger cannot change his spots. I mean, even if one theater closes, then the U.S. is going to open up another theater. It's amazing how much brinksmanship the United States has been playing with the world, and has gotten away with so much. Well, I guess on the other video I was watching, that they were saying that yes, we now want to blockade Russia too, like just completely insane. I wish they would do it, because the United States needs a very good military defeat. Otherwise, they won't stop from going from place to place and setting the place on fire. I don't know how much damage they have done to Syria, how many cities are completely obliterated, or how many people got killed, or were displaced, or became homeless. Then this has gone from Iraq to Afghanistan to Syria, Libya. I guess this is a part of a bigger program, and sure makes the Israelis very happy. But I think that at some point these instigations will trigger some kind of nuclear response or very heavy-handed reverse attack, or some people they call these blowbacks. But I don't think if U.S. military is going after China or is going after Russia or Iran, the blowbacks would be like some limited, strike on a building or something. It would be significant blowback. It would be very hard. And in the domestic side, I hear here and there on the internet that Trump has issued a lot of indictments, sealed indictments, but I don't know why the shit hasn't hit the fan. Or well, I was thinking that at some point their internal feud will turn violent, or maybe the Wall Street crash will culminate in more violent reactions on the part of the New Order, which is Trump. I don't know. The rhetoric on both sides, on the Clinton camp or Trump, is becoming more heated, but no fire yet. Well, when I go to temple and I pray that this whole system will collapse, because it does nothing but ruin many countries, and it's an empire that has managed to, by deceit, by debt, by warfare, to keep going. Every time it has major problems, it makes some cosmetic changes, and then come around and do more of the same crap. I wish there would be a D-Day for them, and this whole thing would fall apart. There is an effect when a lot of people live under the empire. They lose their capacity for being productive and doing things that like manufacturing or creating, instead of doing things that propagates this militarism. Well, there was a Dow Jones crash, I guess 1,300 points, and many analysts are saying that this is the beginning of a bigger crash, or maybe we'll have a steady decline of mini crashes and big crashes. And this is very good for the world economy, because a lot of the money or resources of the world is tied up in these fraudulent bonds and securities, that there isn't much there to back it up. For example, most of the valuation for Wall Street comes from just 5 companies, and if you had access to real good programmers, you could replicate many of these companies very cheaply. For example, there's nothing much more to Facebook or Amazon besides sophisticated computer hardware and software. Okay, the cost of replacing these things could be a fraction of the valuations of these companies. So the whole thing is sitting on a cloud, but I don't know how it hasn't collapsed completely. Uh, it sucks up all the resources of the world. And the other thing that happened is that United States with monetary policy is sucking up all the cash from emerging markets and bringing it back here. Also, they have given themselves huge tax breaks, and the U.S. companies are pulling out of many foreign countries and coming back here. I don't know what for. Well, Salenta says that they're gonna make all these industries, and we are gonna have a beautiful future. But I don't believe that. I think the American companies, they are extremely financialized and fraudulent, and they will not be investing in factories or creating jobs. It's just money that's coming back, and they're gonna squander it some other way. I don't know, to pay for the losses in the bond market, or to pay for the losses or keeping up their stock valuation, all that crap. I don't know. Well, it's like a really old man that's sick. He just won't die, and he just keep going to the hospital, making more expenses and coming back, and then good for a few days, then go back, make more bills, and then come back again. Maybe my prayer is that the 95-year-old would just croak, and we'll get on with our lives. Well, thank you for being in my YouTube channel, and please subscribe. My stuff is research, and please leave your comment. Thank you.